Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. I am being joined by the panel for WWE Payback predictions. This is the first WWE pay-per-view after WrestleMania 33. David, I'll start with you, the author of Pain. How do you feel about this Payback pay-per-view overall? Are you excited?
Well, I'm not jumping up and down, but it's not too bad. I actually thought this past Raw was a strong one. It had some comedy stuff in it. You know, Dean Ambrose and The Miz going over to Raw seems to have really helped them. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a B pay-per-view, but I still expect to see some good matches. In fact, the tag team match is what I'm looking forward the most, actually.
What do you think, Greg?
I think the same thing. The tag team title match is really interesting, and I'll get into my comments. I addressed this on the Sensational Experience too about Orton and Wyatt, but we'll get into that when we actually talk about the match.
Sounds good. And by the way, Greg, you're more popular than me now on the YouTube channel. Congratulations.
2 episodes in. Awesome.
I know. Pretty soon you'll be taking over. You'll be the new face of NoDQ.com. You'll be the new face that runs the place.
I will be.
All right. So anyways, let's get started with this predictions video. First, we have the kickoff match, the usual kickoff match, which is a tag team match, a Teddy Long special. We have Enzo and Cass versus Anderson and Gallows. I'll go ahead and discuss this under the gun. I'll be the first to act. I am not sure what WWE is planning for Enzo. Based off of Raw this week, Enzo has really been portrayed as a goofball. The company is not taking him seriously, and I do not see Enzo and Cass winning this match. I feel like WWE is almost giving up on the team, and sooner than later we're going to see them split and Cass get his big push. I would think that Anderson and Gallows are going to win here to stay strong, although I'm not sure what's going to happen with the tag team titles situation. But either way, it feels like Anderson and Gallows have more reason to win so they can be booked as the next potential challengers, and then WWE can split Enzo and Cass. I'm just not sure what WWE is doing with Enzo at this point. So, Greg, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the match?
You know, we've seen this match a bunch of times. We just saw it on Raw a couple weeks ago, actually. And you know, Enzo and Cass, the whole match with the Vaudevillains where Enzo got injured, it really derailed all the momentum that they had. And I don't think they've recovered since then, to be honest. And Enzo and Cass, they were entertaining in NXT, but it's almost getting to the point where, you know, like you said, they're not being taken seriously. They're not being booked seriously. And nobody's seeing them as a threat. It's like they're supposed to pop the crowd with their promos, which their promos have kind of fallen off the wayside too. So it's almost like, So I got to go. My official prediction is going to be Anderson and Gallows. What do you think, David?
I'm going to have to agree with you guys there. For some reason, it seems like the heels are getting more push now than baby faces, more than ever. And also, you pointed out, Greg, about the injury. It seems like since then, they've also booked Enzo to look very fragile, like he's always getting hurt. And he's always got that stunned look on his face, like, oh man, I'm hurt. And it's like his third match now that he couldn't compete because he was hurt. So yeah, they're being booked awful. My only thing that I would say that they wouldn't pull the plug on them just yet is that, you know, when I go into arenas, I see their merch a lot, and maybe they're going to do a New Day thing with them and just stretch it out as long as they can to make all that money, you know. But from a booking standpoint, they can do a lot better. But for some reason, Anderson and Gallows it's a reverse effect now. They're the ones that seem to get the push a little bit more. So yeah, I hate to agree with the rest of you, but yeah, I think Anderson and Gallows wins this one.
Yeah, Anderson and Gallows seem to have the momentum right now. So we're all going with them to win. Doesn't really matter. I could see it going either way, but I'll go ahead and stick with my prediction of Anderson and Gallows winning. We have a Kickoff Miz TV segment. Not really much to say about that. Guest is Finn Balor. So Finn Balor doesn't even have a match on the show. Maybe because of the concussion, plans changed a little bit. Who knows what's going on? No Dean Ambrose on this show either, so no IC title defense. Really weird. Just something thrown together just so Miz and Balor can get TV time. David, anything you want to say about this, or let's just move on?
Well, yeah, we should move on. I mean, the promo, the stuff leading up to the stuff on Raw was great, but yeah, you should capitalize on it and make a damn match. It's a travesty that Dean Ambrose isn't defending the title, but whatever. What do you anything to say, Greg?
No, I don't know why like, I'm sure they wanted to get Balor on the show, but they put him on the kickoff, so it's like, what's the point? You know, not as many people are going to watch the kickoff as they do the actual show. So, yeah, I don't know why Ambrose versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title's not on the show. I don't get it, but I don't get it.
Even though I'm not a fan of seeing that match again, they've been building towards it, so they might as well do it, although that would have been the kickoff, and then people would have complained. So whatever, it's just ridiculous. Anyways, let's move on here to the main card. First up, we have Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Seth Rollins debuted his new knee strike finisher on Raw, picking up the victory. This one I think could go either way, but I think that it's going to be the first of several matches, and because of that, I'm going to go with the logical choice of Samoa Joe winning, and then Seth Rollins gets his win back at the next pay-per-view. But it's hard to say because WWE sometimes has the babyface win the first match. It's really weird how WWE books things sometimes. But I'm going to go with Joe, but this one I think could go either way. Greg, what are your thoughts?
And I'm going to have to go with Samoa Joe as well. I mean, he just debuted on the main roster the night after the Royal Rumble. So they can't start making him lose matches yet. Losing tag matches is fine when he doesn't take the fall because that doesn't hurt him.
Right.
But I don't see Samoa Joe being put down here by Rollins, even though Rollins debuted a new finisher, which is okay. It's no curb stomp and it's no pedigree.
Agreed.
But it'll work. So I'm going with Samoa Joe. What do you think, Dave?
And I got $20 to you guys that says within a year he's going to injure somebody with that move. Just watch it. He's going to clobber somebody with his kneecap, and there's going to be a big fight, and Jericho's going to have to get involved in the locker room.
And then Bret Hart will complain about it.
It'll be a 5 out of 10 backstage fight. No, I do see Samoa Joe winning. I think they should book him as kind of like Kurt Angle, this wrestling machine that doesn't lose often. You know, I mean, I think it's all the more credible for him. I mean, I know you got Braun Strowman as this beast, but I think Samoa Joe can be booked the same way. I see Samoa Joe getting the win, and then the next pay-per-view or whatever, you'll have the second match and then the rubber match, and you know how they'll do that. But yeah, I go with Samoa Joe.
All right, so we're all going with Joe. So far, we're all sticking together. Next up, we have the women's title match. We have Bayley defending against Alexa Bliss. This show is in San Jose, which is Bayley's hometown. I am not a fan of how WWE's booking Bayley. I liked it at first when they were just portraying her as like the fans, but now they're trying to portray her as like a little girl and she's never kissed a boy and all this stuff. I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's really going to backfire. I think people are going to start turning on her if they keep portraying her as uncool. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of how she's been portrayed. Alexa has a lot of momentum. I thought Alexa was great on Raw. I love how she responded to the what chants. You know, if Alexa Bliss is the greatest, say what. And of course they said what. I'm almost thinking they should do a title change, even though it is Bayley's hometown, and you would think that the hometown hero would win. This one is another match I feel could go either way. I'm not sure. I'm going to act last because I'm not sure. David, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. What are your thoughts?
Oh, boy. Well, going into this, I'm thinking to myself, you know, Alexa Bliss has a lot of momentum. She was starting to pick up steam on SmackDown. They moved her to Raw. She seems like an over heel, you know, and she's really, you know, she's actually surprised me and done quite a good job. You know, Bayley, I don't want to knock her personally, but they're killing her with her gimmick, man. It's so cheesy. I've already turned against her personally. I think her promos are almost awkward to watch at times. So just from a momentum standpoint, you know, I just think Alexa deserves this right now, but you never know. Like you said, hometown, you know, WWE could go either way with this, but I'm going to go with Alexa on this one. What do you think, Greg?
You know, I agree with you guys on the fact that Bayley's been booked terribly. Her gimmick is awful. It's almost like whenever something goes wrong, it's like shucksy doodles. You know, what just happened here? It's like Bayley has no edge. It's like she was fantastic in NXT with her program with Sasha and even with Asuka. Like, those were both great. But since she's come to the main roster, they have destroyed her character. And it's annoying because she's talented in the ring. But I am going against the conventional hometown hero loses mentality. I'm going to say that Bayley retains, even though I love me some Alexa Bliss. I'm predicting Bayley for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think she needs to drop the title. I think that Bayley needs to be chasing rather than being the champion. But I think we're going to see two hometown hero wins in a row. We saw Naomi win at WrestleMania, and yeah, I'm going to say Bayley wins this one. But I think that there's going to be something happening, like Sasha's going to get involved again, or something's going to further the split, the inevitable split between Bayley and Sasha. Maybe Sasha will cost Bayley the title. I could see that as a possibility as well. I'm really torn, but I'll go ahead and say Bayley retains. But I'm not sure on this one. I really think I could go either way. All right, so moving on here to the Cruiserweight title match. We have Neville defending against Austin Aries. Is Austin Aries on the Neville level? We'll find out on Sunday. But since Austin lost at WrestleMania, I think we're going to see a title change now. I was expecting it at WrestleMania. It didn't happen. Now I think Aries is going to get the title. Neville's had a really good run, but I think it's time to switch things up and have Aries win the title. So, Greg, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking Aries is going to win this one, too. I'm kind of expecting some sort of interference by TJ Perkins with that new alliance that's going on, which I actually kind of enjoy. Perkins being like a little... him like taunting behind Neville when Neville's all serious. It's almost like look at me, you can fight me, you can't fight me because I'm protected. I kind of like that. Maybe it's just me, but like I kind of enjoy TJ Perkins' new role. But I'm going to agree that Austin Aries is going to become the new Cruiserweight champion. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, arguably when you see 205 Live, or I should say unarguably, Austin Aries gets the majority of the chance. I mean, he was, that's what the casual fan, they know him. He's a staple of that Cruiserweight division, and I see him winning here, and then I also probably see him winning the rubber match, too, down the line. I think that Austin Aries sort of needs to carry this Cruiserweight title for a few months at least, just to sort of put it on the map, But my hat's off to Neville in this rivalry. I thought that his heel turn has been phenomenal, so... the credit to him for really kind of elevating it a little bit and making it more interesting. But, yeah, I'm going with A double here to win this one, Aaron.
All right, cool. So we're all going with A double to win the Cruiserweight title, which probably means he's not going to win it, knowing how our track record is with the predictions. Next up for the U.S. title, this is one match I think it's pretty safe to predict. Kevin Owens defending against Chris Jericho. We all know Jericho is heading off to do his tour with Fozzy in the month of May, so he'll be gone at least for a month, maybe a couple of months. And this should be the blow-off of the feud, and no reason for Kevin Owens not to win here. I think it'll be a very good match, although it's been weird because of the fact that we had Owens going to SmackDown. The last few weeks we haven't seen any interaction between the two of them, which has made the build-up a little strange. I think it's fallen a little bit flat, but I still think it'll be a good match, and I'm going with Owens. I mean, David, we'll start with you. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, Owens is obviously the logical pick here. It's lost momentum because Owens going to SmackDown, and I know Jericho's trying to sell it, being like, oh, well, maybe my show will move to SmackDown, but in actuality, he's going to lose. Kevin Owens is going to win, and he's going to elevate that U.S. title. And then Chris Jericho can go off and do his rock star thing. What do you think, Greg?
I think Owens is going to retain and then face AJ Styles. I mean, AJ has the #1 contendership. We've seen the Jericho-AJ feud. I don't think we need to see it again since they're both basically baby faces now. Even though they put on great matches, I think it's time for AJ and Owens to have their time with the U.S. title. So I'm pretty sure it's fairly simple to predict that Owens is going to retain.
All right,
what a great pro that'll be with Owens and AJ.
Oh, it'll be
definitely.
Fantastic.
I mean, I think that people are going to see that as the main event of the Backlash pay-per-view, but we'll get to that when we do the Backlash video. Anyways, moving on here to the Raw Tag Team Titles match, we have the Hardy Boyz versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Yes, delete. Now, this is interesting because on Raw we saw Matt and Jeff. Jeff won his singles match against Cesaro, right?
Correct.
And then this week we saw Matt defeat Sheamus, which is interesting. So the Hardys have gotten the best of Cesaro and Sheamus in singles matches. Normal WWE logic would tell you that means we're going to see a title change. I think it might be too soon for a title change, but if WWE is figuring out something with Anthem and they're going to do the broken gimmick, then the Hardys losing would make sense here to start the ball rolling with them becoming broken again and establishing that in WWE. So I'm gonna go with the title change. I think Cesaro and Sheamus are gonna win the titles, and we're gonna see the start of the Hardys becoming broken again. Greg, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I have to say, watching Raw, I enjoy the Matt Hardy and Sheamus match because Matt Hardy's gimmick just seems like he's having an identity crisis. Because you notice at one point in the match, he's like, I'm V1, which is like a 13 years ago flashback. And then he goes to do a DDT. It's like, yes. It's like,
right. Oh,
he's all over the place. And it's actually kind of enjoyable, him doing the mix-up. I'm actually going to predict the Hardys retain here. But I can also see a heel turn for Cesaro and Sheamus after the match.
Interesting point.
Yeah, you know, he stole my thought exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like, I didn't want to read too deep into this. And then I said, well, you know, title change, that'd be kind of fast. They'll probably stretch this out a little bit longer, this nostalgia act with the Hardys. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, they've teased the reluctant handshake now for 2 weeks in a row with them being good sports. I can almost see Sheamus going off the cuff and then Cesaro joining in and then them, you know, getting dirty and doing dirty things. And then eventually they're getting the heat. I could see that definitely happen. So I'm glad that you thought about that, Greg, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. So yeah, it could possibly be a heel turn since you got two babyface teams, but I'm still going with the Hardys to retain the tag team championships here.
All right. So you guys are going against me. We'll see how that plays out. All right. Now we have the House of Horrors match, which I'm not sure what the deal is. I'm not sure if it's for the WWE title or not. Did either of you hear anything about the WWE title being on the line during Raw? Did the commentators say anything?
I didn't hear any reference, no.
Okay, so yeah, as of the recording of this video on WWE.com, there was no mention of the WWE title being on the line. So I'm assuming it's a non-title match. The whole thing is really weird. Again, like the match with Owens and Jericho, this is a weird match because of the fact that Bray Wyatt was drafted over to Raw, and there's been little interaction between the two of them besides the promos. We still have no idea what the House of Horrors match is, and I'm scared. I'm scared just to think what they're gonna do with this match. My guess is they're gonna film it like a horror movie. You know, it's gonna be probably in the backstage area with a bunch of special effects and
zombies,
wacky stuff. Maybe they'll end up in a graveyard. You know, I'm thinking they're gonna try to do their version of the Final Deletion. You know, something really over the top with a bunch of effects and stuff. I don't know. Right now I'm dreading it. Maybe it'll be awesome. Maybe WWE will come up with something really creative, but not getting my hopes up. If the title's not on the line, I think that Bray Wyatt will win, and maybe that's why it's not a title match, so Bray Wyatt can get the victory here, and then Randy Orton is still the WWE champion. So I'm going to say Bray Wyatt wins. Well, Greg, what do you think? I'll put you on the spot first, and then I'll give my final prediction.
You know, the fact that the WWE title isn't on the line, this match doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah.
If there's no title rematch at stake, like there is between Jericho and Owens, what the hell's the point? I mean, they really shouldn't be feuding against each other. It's like, oh, Wyatt wants to get his revenge on Orton, but he's not going to get the title back if he wins. So who cares? And then the fact that they don't explain what the hell this match is. I'm just really annoyed with this match, honestly. I'm beyond frustrated with it because there's so much that does not make sense with this entire thing. Like you said, maybe it'll be a disaster, maybe it'll be good. I'm leaning towards the former. But I'm actually going to say Randy Orton wins this match to make it make even less sense.
Okay. That's a very good point. David, what do you think?
Yeah, annoyed is a great word. This is very confusing. I've lost interest, and I almost feel bad for Bray Wyatt because I almost feel like they're dropping the ball on him, really. I don't know. I just think this is so confusing, so ridiculous, and it comes off as like a way to copy already the strange thing that the Hardys have already done. The production may be better. It may look cooler, but I'm just not super thrilled about this. I have to agree with Aaron. I hate to agree with the salty biscuit himself, but it does make sense that if the title's not on the line, Bray gets the win and he goes off to maybe feud with somebody else then on Raw. So I'll go with Bray Wyatt in this very strange circumstance match here.
Well, now I might pull a swerve on you, David, because I'm almost wanting to say Orton now and go with Greg, because what he said, you know, it would be so WWE for them to make this a non-title match and Randy Orton still wins the match. Oh, man. You know, I'll just say Bray Wyatt, but if Randy Orton wins, I would just find that to be absolutely hilarious for all the wrong reasons.
I just think this whole rivalry, I think they just put way too much thought into it. There's a fine line between not having good storytelling and then having too much, where people are like, boy, this is like watching The Departed. I had to watch it 5 times just to figure it out. So, you know.
Well, this is like entering WCW territory of booking.
A little bit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
WCW 2000 territory.
Yeah, exactly. The question is, will this match top the absolute classic Chamber of Horrors match? That remains to be seen. Maybe.
You know, I had comparisons to that. I don't remember if it was Jeff that I was talking to, but I compared this to the Chamber of Horrors. It's like, okay, so they're going to lower a giant electric chair in the middle of the ring and then shoot the lever that flops down for half the match. And if you haven't seen the Chamber of Horrors, Halloween Havoc 1991, find it, watch it, and just wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that would be a good match to watch before watching Payback, because then your expectations will be so low. I mean, there's no way, right, that the House of Horrors can be any worse than the Chamber of Horrors.
But don't say that.
We'll see. All right, so now we have the main event, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. As we're recording this video, there's no stipulation or gimmick for this match, so they're just having a straight one-on-one match, which leads me to believe that this is going to drag out. There will not be a decisive finish here, and the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules, we will see a decisive winner. So, David, I'll put you under the gun first. What are your thoughts on this match? What are your predictions?
It could go either way for me, but the way I see they've been booking Braun is this really badass. I say he wins the first one, and then Extreme Rules would be a case like back in the day when Brock Lesnar came back and Cena beat him by doing the AA on the steps because he could use weapons, so it was easier to beat him. That's the logic I see, but when is WWE known to use logic, right? They could give it to Roman for all I know for him losing his brother, just kind of a sentimental thing. Who knows? Like, here, be happy. You beat Braun. But from a storyline standpoint, I see Braun winning here, and then come Extreme Rules, Roman can use some plunder, if you will, to win the match.
Well, keep in mind,
I'll go with Braun.
Keep in mind that the plan right now is for Strowman to face Lesnar. So would it make sense for Strowman to lose the last match between the two of them before facing Brock Lesnar?
Well, did it make sense for Brock Lesnar to lose to Triple H and John Cena before he went on a tear?
No, it did not.
So, I'm just, but you're right. What do you think, Greg?
This is a case where I think Braun has to win this match. He absolutely has to. There's no way around it. I don't care if he is facing Roman Reigns, who just retired The Undertaker. That does not matter to me. The way they have booked Braun is like he is an unstoppable monster. If you have him lose his first pay-per-view match after being built up like this, he'll never be taken seriously again.
Right.
It's like, I can't take him seriously because, Reigns beat him twice. So it's like, big deal. It's like, Braun has to win this one. And if Reigns wins, again, I will be very annoyed, like I am with the House of Horrors.
Well, here's what I think. I'm expecting some sort of non-finish or something undecisive. I could see this being a no contest. I could see it being similar to the 97 match at Ground Zero between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, where things get out of control, referee gets knocked down, another referee comes out, he gets knocked down, it's just total chaos, and then the locker room tries to separate these two monsters, Godzilla and King Kong, and maybe Reigns spears Strowman through the stage, or they do some big spot to end the pay-per-view. I'm thinking it's going to be a no contest. Either that or Reigns wins by DQ, but I'm thinking it's going to be like that Ground Zero match between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. I'm going with a no contest. Neither guy will win, and then at Extreme Rules, they do the ambulance match or the stretcher match or whatever they do, and that's when
Right.
Strowman wins and then goes on to face Lesnar. That's my prediction. Would you
That
guys
could
like
work,
to
but
change your prediction now?
No, I'm not. I never change. What am I, Jeff?
All right.
I don't change.
All right,
Come
so
on.
you guys are going with Strowman then.
Yeah, I'll go with Strowman. Yeah, and because believe it or not, and we talked about this on Pop, with Virtue, I just think that I'm actually enjoying the way Strowman's being booked. I don't know. I'm starting to like him. I think he's athletically, he's a good big man. I mean, he's believable. I mean, look at the size of his chest. Holy cow.
Yeah, he is genetically jacked.
Yeah, I'd say.
All right, guys. Well, that'll wrap it up for our thoughts on the WWE Payback pay-per-view. Hopefully, it's a good show. Should be a good pay-per-view. Usually, the WWE pay-per-views, at least in the quality of the performances, they are good. Booking-wise, I'm not getting my hopes up that this is going to be a solid show, but should be entertaining for the most part. All right, so Greg, your plugs.
All right, my plugs at Twitter. On Twitter, at PA Sensation, at PA Sensation on Instagram as well. You can submit me questions for episode 4 of TSE, because I have planned for episode 3 coming probably Saturday before the Payback pay-per-view. So check those out. Check out the first 2 episodes, and that's it for me.
All right, David?
Yeah, definitely watch Greg's stuff. It's good. He's got good insight into the wrestling business. Check me out at SmartMark420 on Twitter. We'll be filming another episode of Pop, hopefully maybe this weekend. We'll see. The panel thing seems to be going well, so we'll see if the name of the show may change. We might try to incorporate something. But I appreciate everybody that checks out Pop with me and Aaron and Virtue. And stay tuned for more.
All right, we'll be back on Sunday night with the review video. Not sure who's going to be on that. Maybe it'll be the 3 of us, or maybe we'll have the other David on. Kyle wants to be on, the Interstate Kyle, so we'll try to get him on at some point. Check out his videos on NoDQ's YouTube channel. Of course, stay tuned to NoDQ.com. I will be doing coverage on Sunday. We have the discussion sections on various posts on NoDQ.com. You can leave your thoughts, interact with me, questions, comments, whatever. And that'll do it. We will see you guys next time.